Welcome back. Today we're looking at Eye Committee number 7. Helping me again today, Sensei Kerry Moore. So let's crack on. Right. Sir! Juicer! Right. Sir! Sir! Right. Eye Committee number 7, breakdown. Okay, so first attacks and the uke covers 1, 2. So can you do, that's fine here. So the uke is not just slap, slap, but he's coming up and turning and turning. Like an aeroplane coming into land, it doesn't hit the ground hard, it actually deflects. And the head slightly turns this way. Okay, so that if the punch does go through, it's going to hit the side of your head rather than the actual nose. So you have this motion, yeah, by turning the body and leaving the hand, you're covering. And also you're actually getting more extension by turning the body. So I'd advise you start practicing on the spot, just there, and make sure that to start off with, I start doing the attack and the uke. Okay. Then you need to do it as well. So both of us are actually working the same movement. Once we've got that, then slowly try working yourself across the mat and then back again. So you're actually trying to get used to the movement going forward and back. And yeah. So don't just think of just your Eye Committee. This is a very similar move. Those of you who practice Shinto, yeah, this is one of the moves. Yeah, not 90 degrees. Yep. So while you're practicing this, you're practicing Shinto as well. Okay. So when the Maegeri comes in as well, you need to make sure your body moves out the way, but not too far. Then you want to, when you need to not hit it 90 degrees. Not hit it 90 degrees. You need to turn your body so you get your body weight behind. Then also try and use the inside and turn. Yeah? So you get more of a deflection. The uke actually moves to the side slightly, giving you more room. So if you did it from this side, yeah, if I don't do anything, I'll just move. Yeah. Can you see how close I am? And I can't get the punch in. That doesn't mean I have to move away to try and get the punch in. So I need to redirect. Yeah. Now I've got plenty of room. Not just Gakuzuki, but more of an uppercut, coming underneath, yeah? And try not to pull the fist back because it's got to come back again. So it needs to be in, comes up. Don't stop there because if you take, Sensei will fall on top of me. You need to be out of the way. So without my hands. Can you see I've got a clear path for him to fall? I don't want him falling on top of me. So you have to make it a safe area to move away. Believe when people in helicopters, they have a safe avenue away from it because it oscillates, doesn't it? So you make sure you know that over here. Yeah. Okay. Next. This is not very good. 1, 2, 3. Can you see how my arm's extended? I've had no effect whatsoever on Sensei here. Yeah. If I keep my arm bent, like your fighting stance, like your Seishan, yeah, keep it bent. It's another example of I, where I'm harmonizing, yeah, with the move. I'm actually using my body weight to do the throw. I'm not using static muscle work to try and hack him down. Yeah. Very gratifying, especially on Sensei Keri. Okay, but try and use your technique. Keep it bent, propel it forward, use your hip, take. When you punch or when you keri, then we try and use that equation, isn't it? Force, your punch or your kick. The force behind it is your mass times acceleration squared. I can't always miss the squared off. Yeah. So if I've got two lots of masses, therefore my punch should be not twice as effective, but it will be slightly more effective than just using my own mass. So if I can join onto him and I can get that punch in as we land, then I'm using Sensei Keri's body against him. So we're going to take to the floor and we're going to try and keep together, and as we land, hopefully I'll try and get the punch in there just before we finish. So the punch coming up, pushing through, taking, and punch. Don't leave it until you're right the way down and then trying to do it because you've lost all that momentum. Yeah? Try and use your Gakkeizuki no Tsukame to here and punch. And when you go away, take the shoulder away from you. So, make your distance so you can flow through. Try not to do 1, 2, 3, but 1. When you're going, keep your arm bent. Bring Sensei along with you. Make sure you've got enough room for them to fall. Take. As you're coming down, don't put your foot down straight away. Land together. Thank you. Okay, so similar to the conventional way, but in a lot of ways quite different. And it's all again about my and ma'ai, and making sure you're looking for that safe avenue to move out so that you're not having him fall on top of you and then you're stumbling back trying to hit them. Yeah? Okay. Wish.
OO number 7. Points to look for from Uke's point of view. Suri. Rob, it's not a hard attack. You're trying to flow with the attack. Just to steer it slightly and then turn the head. So you're offering a smaller target than directly on. So this Suri action and the turning of the head. We've discussed in other takedown related wazas, tuck your chin. Keep your chin tucked in. If nothing else, tuck your chin. You want to smack the back of your head. And we've mentioned again, try to go down on multiple points. So you're not one huge shock. You roll up the body to take the impact out of the technique. Essentially, was describing about the movement through and then the turn. This comes into this concept of kazushi, which means to disrupt or destroy the center. Any throwing technique, whether judo, jiu-jitsu, aikido, they always try to look for kazushi. And to get kazushi, you really need to get your uke out of their center in 2 different directions to make it effective. In normal conditions, your head is supported directly on the spine. Your head is quite heavy. So if you can get them out of their center in one direction, my head now is not supported by the spine, it's supported by musculature. So I'm having to work hard to remain upright. So if you can get them out of the center in one direction and then add a second direction, the spine collapses. So what's happening with this technique is the sensei mentioned his arm is attached to me and he goes in that direction. That gives one movement out of the center. When he makes the Mawate, that adds the second direction. So from Uke's point of view, if your partner isn't getting you out of the center in 2 directions, isn't achieving kazushi, then they might need to look at this little section. This is a kuriashi behind Uke, and this attachment is what starts the movement off. You get one direction, and then the Mawate gives you the second direction. So if you just feel like you're being wrestled to the floor or hacked to the floor with the foot, then they could be working on their technique and making it much better, much safer and much more effective. And this also comes into this idea of mai is being at the correct distance, not being too close that you're cramped up, but not being that far away that your centre can't attach to their centre. So quite a lot going on with this one. So as Uke, you can give a lot of feedback, especially on the takedown section. So it's quite important to have a look at that and get comfortable with it.
Conclusion. You have to work on your distances. You have to work on your nore, which riding, not only for this and to deflect from a different direction, but also for Uzuki, but also for your keri as well. Join them and then carry on and deflect. So as soon as you start learning that deflection, that catching and deflection, very swordsmanship. Also, I'm always conscious that if somebody's got an injury, then you need to adapt. So let's face it, who doesn't like grabbing somebody and hacking them into the ground? So make sure you've got matted area. Yeah, so that's the main thing. There's no good taking it on the floor every time. So, Sensei, can I just use you? So, rush that leg forward. So, when you grab the gi, you have to ensure you take it to another direction as well, where if they haven't got a gi, if they've got a t-shirt, then try and take the skin. Okay? If you've injured your hand and you can't grab, yeah, some of us starting to get arthritis, so if you can, try just hooking. Yeah, technique will work, but you won't be able to have both masses coming down together. So, yeah, you can use your hook use your hook of your hand to pull down. You know, if you've been sparring and you've bruised a couple of knuckles and they're swollen up a little bit, then you can still carry on and practice this Iyokomiti by just hooking your hand over the shoulder. Most probably won't get the full effect of the technique, but at least you'll be able to develop another skill set by using this hook. Yeah, I quite enjoy this, obviously, because there's a takedown. Always have done. So, yeah, enjoy it, but take it very, very easy when you land and when you punch. Try and control it. Yeah, same feeling as when you do Seishan. Try and land together with your technique. Yeah, land together with your technique. So, if you can, try and associate some of the moves that you do during the Iyokomiti series or the Kihon series. Back it up with some movement out of your kata. And when you come to do that kata, it feels as though you've used it, you know, in another situation rather than just using it in a kata. So here, yeah, control them down. Kata. Yeah, keeping this weight flowing and falling and dropping to do the punch. Not stopping and leaning over, bending, but to drop. Controlled drop and have soft knees. People who think that they are relaxed can always tell because their knees haven't gone. So if your instructor says you need to relax, which my instructor used to say all the time to me, yeah, then don't need to try and relax all these to start with. If you start with your knees, everything else relaxes, not just relax from here. Knees haven't gone, so try and relax the knees. Yeah, then all your body relaxes. Yeah, so relax. Bend your knees, soft knees. Thank you.